Quorum was founded in 1985 when tech M&A was in its infancy. Smaller company deals then were handled by real estate agents or general business brokers. They lacked the knowledge about tech, no domain expertise, and no clue how to position and sell such tech clients to highly sophisticated global buyers. Their clients were asset-based. Very few investment banks spent effort in selling such tech companies. It just didn't pencil, as sellers were a lot of extra work over many months, only one-time clients. The real money was in doing volume consulting services like valuations or raising venture capital or debt from the same firms they already knew. They mostly did targeted buying activities with buyers that they would work with over multiple acquisitions, or in some cases doing very high margin IPOs. Selling companies was a completely different activity with different skills needed. There was little or no value added in those days. Investment bankers put together thick offering documents full of spreadsheets that they called the book. The buyers didn't read them as they were primarily interested in the technology. Their standard valuation methods didn't apply. A software company could sell for 6 to 10 times more than the same size non-tech company, yet not have much of a balance sheet or even be profitable. Back then, there was almost no information on how to sell a tech business. Prepare the company for the process, identify buyers, do valuations, go to market, and complete the deal through due diligence, contract preparation, to final payment. The biggest problem was lack of buyer information. We actually had to go to the university business library to find companies that might buy. And even then, we were missing the critical information we needed about what buyers wanted, how they priced, negotiated, conducted due diligence, contract terms, etc. That was a kind of confidential information that could only be obtained from dialogue with buyers during M&A discussions. Unfortunately, the deal makers who were involved with that didn't like to disclose any information, call it job security. Thus, not surprisingly, no investment bank had ever tried to set up data gathering on buyers. It just required too much discipline. In those days, transactions were conducted using the mail. So slow. It would take many months just to line up all the buyers engaged with information exchanged by mail or fax. There was no email or internet then, so the telephone was our best friend. It was necessary, actually critical, to build the trust necessary to get maximum value. It's even more true today. Most buyers then assigned junior staff for smaller private companies who were trying to sell it. It wasn't good then. Unfortunately, it's still the practice. One person doing research, writing, valuations, contacting buyers, due diligence, etc. They weren't qualified for many of these types of work. Their negotiation experience might be limited only to buying their house, not the sale of a high-tech company. With these industrial weaknesses in mind, we embarked on building a new kind of investment bank, specializing in all aspects of exclusively selling software, IT, and related technology companies. Firms that wanted an optimal outcome, not just an offer. Quorum was built around 4 pillars. The first, education. We knew education would be needed, both to prepare companies for buyer discussions and to get them through the due diligence. Our first 4 Selling Up, Selling Out conferences sold out in the fall of 1990 in Seattle, Silicon Valley, New York, and London. So were the next 8 that year. Through education, we could become thought leaders. The second was database. Beginning with information from those first conferences and engagements, in 1992 we began building the definitive buyer knowledge base. The technology and discipline to capture the critical, confidential information needed on buyers to get the right people with the right message. This is the area where we would invest the most. Third, process. As former CEOs who had built cutting-edge tech companies, we knew we needed a detailed multi-step process to engage potential partners in a highly coordinated way to create competitive tension. That auction process. You had to make it a process that would leave no stone unturned in a global partner search. Teams. Lastly, we needed experts, no matter where they were in the world, with each discipline with serious domain knowledge. Full teams on each account, led by former tech CEOs who had built and sold their own tech company. They uniquely have the gravitas, skills, and experience to make a difference in securing clients the value they deserved. With this brief history and overview of our founding principles, let's kick off by seeing what it's like today in the virtual age of software bidding wars. How far we've come.